Greetings, Human Life Forms. I'm the Meister, and welcome back to another playoff seeding video. Today, I have the NFC playoff seedings, and this time I actually put a pre-top 7 teams in the NFC thing. So, because you'll probably know if I just had the team sitting there that you would know that's a 7 seed. But anyways, today we're doing the NFC playoff seedings. Last week we did the AFC playoff seedings, which might have to be changed now already because Tyreek Hill was traded, which means Jimmy Garoppolo, right after I post this, is going to be traded to some other NFC team. So who knows? But today we have the NFC playoff seeding, so we're just going to hop right into it here. Starting off with number 7, we have the Green Bay Packers. Now, this was an interesting one because I was looking at the rosters and everything, and obviously everyone knows about the Devontae Adams trade, which I think kind of hurt them, obviously. At least now, oh yeah, they got nothing out of it. Yeah, it's just going to hurt them a lot. Just entirely, it's going to hurt them. So it's looking like their current, and they also lost Marquez Valdez-Scantling to the Chiefs, which means you're looking at their roster, and the only receivers that you really know of are Randall Cobb, a washed receiver, and then you have Amari Rogers, which is like an unproven receiver, pretty much. That's not a good receiving room to have, so that's kind of a big issue, but they still got A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones in the running back position, so they're good there. Tight end, they got Robert Tonyan, and they still got Mercedes Lewis there also, so tight end is still doing pretty good, and obviously quarterback is doing amazing now that Aaron Rodgers is coming back, so really the only hole is wide receiver, that huge gaping hole that is receiver. But then you look at their defense, before I get to that, defense, obviously got Jair Alexander at corner, really big name there, potentially, well, he is probably top 5 unless his injury is going to screw up with him, probably won't though. You also got Preston Smith still on defense, but you lost Darius Smith going to your NFC North rival Vikings, so that's kind of an issue. So it is a pretty solid defense, but the thing that really tore me down on this Packers team is, again, the wide receiver position. So until it gets addressed, I'm going to have him this low in the rankings. As we move on to number 6, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this I kind of, because when I look back at their last season, they started off 11-0 and looked amazing. They looked like the best team in the league. And then injuries happened. Murray and Hopkins both got hurt, and then they started to lose some games. They still won a couple games, but they started losing some games. And then once they got healthy, they got shoved right into a playoff game in Los Angeles, and they got absolutely smothered because they had no practice being back, and they're just getting off injuries, and it kind of derailed their season. So if they can stay healthy, that Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, they'll have a good connection yet again this season. James Conner, I think, is probably going to have another really good year. He probably won't have 18 touchdowns again, but I think he'll definitely have another really good year. They do have Zach Ertz. I just remember that they also have Zach Ertz still sitting there at tight end also. So pretty good offensively for the Cardinals. Can't really complain about it. As I look over at the defense, they got some guys over there. They definitely have some guys over there, most notably Isaiah Simmons and Budda Baker. But there's no, it's not like a defense like, oh my god, that's a top 5 defense, or oh my god, that's a top 7 defense. You know, it's just kind of like above average, not really in the elite tier of defenses. They were really good to start off the season, but then they kind of fell off near the end of the season and at the playoffs also. So if they could just play how they played in the beginning of the season last year, this is going to be a really good Cardinals team. But, sorry, just had dinner. Yeah, they could definitely have some issues down the road again with just injuries and everything in general. So Uh, I hope they do good. Even though they did a Hail Mary on me, they still haven't won a Super Bowl yet, so I kind of respect them, I guess, a little bit. But moving on to number 5, the San Francisco 49ers. Now I'm sure everyone knows who won the NFC West in this already. But I have the 49ers at 5. Really close, however. Really close. With the other NFC West team that I'm not going to mention yet. Just to build up suspense. Seahawks, Rams, I don't know. But 49ers at 5. I did have Trey Lance as the starter because I'm pretty sure he's going to be the starter at this point. So Trey Lance, a lot of potential. We'll see where his career can go. I don't know why. I'm just getting Mahomes vibes because Mahomes sat out his first year and so did Lance, and then they're going to be their starter. They're going to be the starter the second year. So just yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of getting Mahomes vibes from it. But at wide receiver, you have Deebo Samuel, one of the best receivers in the league. Like, he was absolutely incredible last year. Potentially running back, too. I mean, he looked really good running the football also. And then they also have Brandon Ayuk, pretty solid receiver there also. And then, of course, the big tight end, George Kittle, I think everyone knows about. He's going to ball out for them yet again this year. No doubt about it. Running game, I didn't even mention the running game yet. The running game is probably going to be like it normally is because Kyle Shanahan is really good when it comes to running the football for some reason. And then you look over defense, that is a top 10 defense. That is, without a doubt, a top 10 defense in the league. Potentially top 5. I don't really know. I'd have to look at all the other teams and really think about it long and hard, but I don't really want to do that right now. So I'll just play it safe and say top 10 defense in the league. Defensive line is going to be insane again this year. Secondary will be pretty solid also. So I definitely think the 49ers could make another run this year. But we will see how Lance performs and what the 49ers potentially get for Garoppolo. So moving on to number 4. The Minnesota Vikings. Now, I know there's a big white box here that kind of ruins this whole graphic, but shut up. I don't want to pay money to have you remove this background, okay? So that's entirely my fault. But yeah, number 4, the Minnesota Vikings beating out the Green Bay Packers for the division title. Now, the talent is there for the Vikings. The talent is there. It's just that if this new coaching staff can actually put this team together and actually work with it. They have Kirk Cousins, Pro Bowl QB. They have a great wide receiver duo, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. They have a great running game with Dalvin Cook and Madison. Really good duo. This has the potential to be easily one of the top offenses in the league if they can just put it all together, which I think they could get close to. If they really reach their full potential, they would probably ball out offensively, on all of the defenses across the league except for the Bills' defense. But yeah, I think they'll definitely take a step forward this year. So we'll see how their offense performs defensively. I think it can be pretty good, but it also can be a little bit on the bad side of things. Again, we'll see how the coaching staff works with them. I think they have potential to also be pretty good. Top 10, I'm not sure about, but I definitely think they'll be pretty good this year also. So, moving on to numero 3, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I was going back and forth, before I made this video for all about 2 minutes, and if I wanted the Vikings or the Cowboys to be number 3, and I ended up going with the Cowboys at 3, mainly because we haven't really seen the Vikings, perform like a playoff team. I mean, we've seen them play like a playoff team, but not they're not a lock to make the playoffs. I think the Cowboys are kind of a lock to make the playoffs. Looking at their roster earlier, They did lose Amari Cooper to the Browns, and they got absolutely nothing out of it except for some cap space, so it kind of hurts. But you still have CeeDee Lamb, you still have Michael Gallup, and then they did also pick up James Washington in free agency, so we'll see how he can be for them. But Dak Prescott, that's a big old thing right there. That's just a big... I don't know if it's a good big or bad big. It's just a big thing. So, I don't know if Prescott will be able to play in the first half of the year, which is really good, or if he's going to play how he did in the second half of the season, which is really bad. So, I don't know. I'm going to assume it's really solid, but I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to work out. Running back position, though, you have Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Again, one of the best running back duos in the league. So they're going to be a force in the running game. Offensive line could potentially become an issue, because I know they lost a couple offensive linemen this offseason. So we'll see if the offensive line starts to become an issue for them. But we'll see. We'll see. Defensively, obviously, I have Stephon Diggs' little brother, Trayvon Diggs. If he could play coverage more instead of intercepting balls, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't know. Like he'll make a really good play, and then after that he'll make a really bad play. But he was known for all the good plays he made, and no one really talked about all the bad plays he made. So it's kind of this whole thing. But linebacker position, they look really good. Defensive line could use some work. They did lose Randy Gregory, which is an issue. But they could definitely resolve it with potentially Jordan Davis to get him. Even though I really wanted him, but now we have Von Miller, so we don't really need him anymore. And he did extremely well in the combine, so there's no way we're getting him. But moving on to number 2, we have, drumroll, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sitting at number 2 in the NFC. Now, originally, when Brady retired, the NFC South was looking like a big old toss-up. They were looking like the NFC East of 2019 or 2020. Kind of forgot the year. 2020, I think it was. But Brady came out of the retirement that he was in, and now he's back with the team. And they still have Mike Evans. They have Chris Godwin back. They did lose Antonio Brown, but I think that's a good thing at this point. They have not, however, re-signed Rob Gronkowski yet. I'm sure it will happen at some point, but for now he's not on the team, but he probably will be back on the team. Brady did recruit some offensive linemen back. I know one still decided to retire. Kappa, I think his name was. But yeah, Brady definitely recruited some offensive linemen back, so the offensive line should be somewhat good still this season. And then, of course, playoff Lenny sitting there also in the backfield. Brady also recruited him back. So it should be a good offense, especially if Rob Gronkowski comes back. This is a really, really good offense. Defensively, if they can stay healthy over there, they should be good. Potential top 10 material there defensively. If they can just stay healthy, they will be a top 10 defense like they were in 2020. But if not, might have some issues in defense. But Tampa at 2, and I think we all know who number 1 is. The LA Rams. There's been no moves that has happened that has led me to believe, or anyone else to believe, I think for that matter, that the Rams aren't currently the best team in the NFC. They did lose Von Miller to the Bills, but the only reason why they picked him up in the first place was because they had injuries there. So, they did lose Von Miller. They have not re-signed OBJ, but they got Allen Robinson in free agency, the former Bears receiver. So, if anything, that makes the offense probably the same, if not better. They did trade Robert Woods to the Titans, but then again, that's why they signed OBJ, because he got hurt, and then OBJ got hurt. Since he had an ACL, they got Allen Robinson, so it's this whole thing. But one staple receiver that they have is Cooper Kupp, the reigning offensive player of the year. He's going to ball out for them this year, probably again. And Matthew Stafford at QB. He just won himself a Super Bowl, so congratulations to him. I hope you never win one again, and I hope the Bills win the rest of them throughout the rest of your career, sir. So offense should be pretty good, especially the running game. I didn't even get to the running game, but you have Henderson Jr., and you also have Sony Michel, and then you have Cam Akers, so that should be obviously a really good running game there also. They did lose Andrew Whitworth to retirement, so we'll see what... they might have already even refilled his hole. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. But defensively, they should be good. They were injury-riddled last season, but now they're going to be healthy again coming up this season, so it should be a good defense if they could just stay healthy. So there you have it. That's my playoff predictions. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will also leave all my socials as well in the description below. I'm not sure what kind of video to make next, NFL related, so let me know in the comments below, because I don't have any ideas right now. So, with that, I don't have much else to say, except life forms out.